Once upon a time, there were two neighbors who lived next to each other. They were not the best of friends, but tolerated each other's presence. One day, the first neighbor decided to build a fence to separate their properties. However, he did not want to spend any money on it, so he used the items he found lying around his yard. He used old boards, rusty metal scraps, and even an old tire or two. The second neighbor, who had been planning on building a new garden, was shocked by the sight of the fence. It was ugly and looked like it would fall apart at any moment. The next day, the second neighbor had a plan. He went to the local hardware store and bought a bunch of flowers and plants. He then built a tall trellis fence and planted a garden right in front of it. He carefully planned the arrangement of the flowers to make the garden look beautiful from his side of the fence. The first neighbor was impressed by the transformation and decided to add a few plants of his own. However, being the lazy man he was, he just threw a few seeds on his side of the fence and hoped for the best. To his surprise, the seeds he had thrown grew into wildflowers and vines that covered the entire fence. It looked beautiful, and the two neighbors started to appreciate each other's efforts. They even started chatting over the fence and sharing seeds and gardening tips. From that day on, the two neighbors became great friends, and their yards became the envy of the neighborhood. They eventually took down the ugly fence and built a beautiful garden oasis for all to enjoy. And so the moral of the story is that sometimes it takes a little creativity and effort to turn an ugly situation into something beautiful. Thank you for listening this story. If you like it, show us your support.